What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we're gonna take a look at the orange Gym Root number 4 all tube Lunchbox amplifier. Let's do it. Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and what I do is I take awesome high gain related guitar equipment, I record it with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you guys the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E standard thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and dudes that really need to learn some more riffs, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on your way out so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Alright guys, so you have been waiting a little while for this one because I've had this amp in my possession for quite some time. I did a little live stream with it a while back, but I have not done a dedicated video for it yet. But that all changes today. As mentioned in the intro, this is the orange Gym Root number 4 signature Lunchbox amplifier. This is a single channel all tube amplifier, 15 watts, powered by EL84 power tubes. It's got 4 12AX7s in the preamp section, and it has an effects loop. On the front here, we've got a volume, we've got a gain, and we've got our treble, middle, and bass controls. We've got 15 watts and 7 watts power switches here, and that's it. This thing is a very simple little amplifier, but you can actually get a lot of tones out of this thing because the way that the gain is on this amp, and honestly the way that the gain is on most of these amps, meaning the modern orange amp models, is that the gain has a very noticeable spot on the dial where you essentially you get up to about 1 o'clock, and as soon as you pass 1 o'clock, it goes from kind of a light crunch, you know, sort of saturated hard rock amount of saturation into just extreme saturation. Like it literally is like you flip a switch, you hit that certain point on that dial, and it's just like off, on, all the gain. That's where we're currently at. We have this thing dialed up pretty decently on the saturation, but we're gonna take a look at what it's capable of as far as the range of gain. I'm gonna check this amplifier out with the guitar you see in my hands here. This is the Balaguer Typhon with a Seymour Duncan distortion bridge pickup. I've also got a guitar off to the side with some lower output pickups, and then I have a little surprise for you guys. As far as everything else in the signal chain for that intro, we were going through a Mesa 1999 traditional 4x12 cabinet with the stock vintage 30s. I've got an SM57 on the vintage 30, no post-processing of any sort, and hitting the front of the amp, we've got the Electric Eye Mud Killer, which is a fantastic overdrive for tightening up sludgy amps, but we're gonna turn that off. We're gonna bring all these tone controls back to noon. I'm gonna dial that gain back down to 9 o'clock, and we're going to just start dialing from there. Let's do it. We're gonna start in the 15 watt mode. Now, one of the things that is crazy about this amp is how much of an effect the gain has on the overall volume of it, because when we roll the gain back, we had to turn the volume up significantly to try and meet that same level of volume that we had on the intro with tons of gain. Alright, so that is with the gain rolled back to about 11 o'clock, but as soon as we start to bump it up around 1 o'clock here, you're going to notice a significant amount of saturation increase. and we have more volume, so I've got to roll that volume back just a little bit. And just like that, we are already well into that modern hard rock territory. Now, on most orange amplifiers, at least the ones that I have owned and played through, you really have to start pushing that treble in order to get some top end bite out of these things, because they are just kind of woolly, kind of fuzzy amps, unless you really push that upper frequency to kind of bring some of that, I guess, Marshall type of bite into the situation. So I think that sounds great. I actually think that these orange amps do the classic rock thing, the mid gain, the low gain tones really, really well. They're just kind of, you know, they have that British mid-range, but they're a little bit fuller overall, a little bit warmer. They just sound great for that stuff. But that is not why you are here. That is not why I am here. We're here for the belligerents, so we're gonna go ahead and push that gain up, and I'm gonna say go ahead a few more times. Now, again, we push that gain up more, we've got more of a volume increase, so let's roll the volume back a little bit. Need a little bit of a tune. All right, so now that we have some more saturation, the amp definitely is rounding out quite a bit, and you will notice that on orange amplifiers, that the more that you push that gain, the darker that they get overall. You get more compression that comes along with that saturation. You get a little bit more of a low mid roundness as well, so it really is no mystery to me why like doom guys and stoner rock guys love these amps so much, but that's not what I am. I'm a thrash guy, and I still love this amp, and I'm gonna show you why, but we're gonna play a couple riffs with no boost before we kick in that boost. I'm gonna turn that gain up just a little bit more, get a little bit more saturation. So yeah, all day I can hear just that thick, low mid, just kind of cool stonery type tone. I don't know, I'm not good at words today, but you understand what I'm trying to say. If we were to roll back that treble, roll up the mids and roll up the low end, I got completely lost with what I was playing there because I don't normally play that type of stuff, but yeah, that is that doomy, stonery type stuff all day. If we roll the treble back even more and we take our tuning way down, then you get that. And that's fun, but that's not what we're here for. So I'm actually gonna bring that treble way up. We're gonna roll those mids back just a tad. We're gonna leave those lows bumped a little bit. So it's almost tight enough on its own without a boost, but again, there's a little bit of a low mid bump going on. So in order to thrashify this amplifier, we need something that's gonna remove some of that low mid woolliness and give us a little bit more of an upper mid cut, as well as increase the saturation. And what better to do that than a good old Boss SD1? And clicking that overdrive on immediately fixed everything that I needed to correct about this amp in order to make it better for thrash. Yeah, Boss SD1 works perfectly with this thing. We can actually probably pull back that saturation just a tad. We can add a little bit more low end, and we can add a little bit more mid and take out some of that treble. I actually kind of liked it better with the mids rolled back a little bit. All right, I definitely like that. Let's go ahead, let's try a different boost. Let's try the plumes. See if the plumes works well with this thing. So honestly, it doesn't tighten up the amp as much as I would like, but it's adding a really cool upper mid snarl to the amp. So let's play a riff and drop C real quick. Honestly, sounds really, really cool for that type of stuff. I think that those types of riff are where this amp is really going to excel. Last but not least, let's try that Electric Eye Mud Killer one last time, because that was working really well on the intro. That sounds awesome, but one thing that I think would really benefit this amp is a boost with a lot of output. That way we can kind of actually roll the gain back on the amp and get a little bit more clarity out of it. So here is the Walrus Ages. That still has enough saturation, but holy cow, does it really, did I really just say holy cow? Holy shit! Does that clean up the amp or what? Let's roll that bass up a little bit. I'm actually gonna roll the treble back, add just a tad more mids, and I think that that thing sounded ridiculous. All right, that one works really, really well with this amp because again, you can lay back on the built-in gain on the amp a little bit, which really kind of just lends itself to a clearer and a more articulate signal, a little bit more open, not as compressed. Sounds really good when you hit the front end of this amp really hard if you want to retain some of that kind of openness and clarity. But yeah, let's try some lower output pickups on this thing real quick, and then we will hit it with that 7-string and we'll call it a day. But this amp just sounds so good to my ears. I don't know about you guys, but I think it sounds incredible. All right, guys, so I have my awesome EC1000T here with the Duncan Alnico 2 Pro pickups. I turned the boost off, but I left the gain where it was at. And as you can tell, significantly less output from these pickups. Let's roll that mid up a little bit. Let's get a little bit more bass. To me, it just sounds awesome for those lower gain tones with a lower output pickup. Still has a little bit of that orange kind of lower mid roundness to it, a little bit more low mid fullness, but it has the openness and the bite of a Marshall. It's just a really cool tone for that type of stuff. So with that being said, let's go ahead and bump that gain up. Let's go for a post-hardcore type of riff. All right, sounds really good, but last but not least, let's try it with that Boss SD1 again. We're gonna really need to push that output in order to get some saturation. Actually, we can dial it back a little bit and we can get, oh, we are maxed out on low end at the moment. All right, last but not least, let's go over to the 7-string. I think this sounds excellent as well for the thrash and higher gain tones. I think personally on this amp, I would want something with a little bit more output to it than an Alnico 2 Pro or a similar PAF style pickup. But for hard rock, man, I mean, or even just like AC/DC classic rock tones, something like this into this amplifier would be perfect. All right, last but not least, we've got my Schecter PT something or other hybrid, Hellraiser hybrid. This has the EMG 5766 7-string pickups in it. We are going to play something, I don't know what, because I don't know any 7-string riffs, but here we go. That's about all I got as far as that, so I'm just going to translate a hardcore riff down to drop A. How's that sound? Alright guys, that is going to do it for me today on the Orange Gym Root number 4 Lunchbox amp. I think it sounded surprisingly awesome all the way down in drop A on a 7-string. It stayed pretty punchy and pretty clear, but it had the right voicing for just some gnarly style death metal riffs. If I knew any, I'm gonna work on learning some, but yeah, I really like this thing. I think this thing is a great value on the used market. These things go around $500-600, and I think that it just sounds a little bit more open, a little bit brighter, a little bit clearer than something like the Orange Dark Terror. It's got tons of gain on tap, but if you wanna do lower gain stuff, it can do it all day long. Plus it has the added benefit of an effects loop, so if you want to stick an EQ in the loop to shape the tone even further, you can do so. But yeah, I want to know your guys' thoughts because I have told you all of my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think about this thing down in the comments. What do you think about the sounds that I was able to pull out of it? And if you have ever played one, if you own one, have any experience at all with this amplifier, let me know what it is down in the comments. Really curious to hear from you guys as always. If you guys do want to help my channel out, down in the description of this video are all my affiliate links, including Sweetwater and Zounds. Anything that you guys click down in the description greatly helps me out, or you can consider adding your name to this list of incredible people by joining my Patreon community and supporting the channel that way. I'll love you forever, whether you want me to or not. Thanks for hanging out for yet another video today, guys. Really appreciate you being around. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.